Want help to grow your business? Download Bryn, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit bryn.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi, welcome to Inspired. I'm Taryn Dean. It's great to have your company on this episode. We're going to be discussing 7 steps to turn your talents into lasting success. Let's begin. In a land not so far, far away, there were 3 men. Men and women, just maybe like you and I. 3 men who each had individual talents. One had, say, 10 talents, one had 100 talents, and this person had 1 talent. Talents are a form of currency. In years gone by, they were equivalent to gold, and let's say it, a troy ounce of $660 US an ounce. The equivalent of 1 talent was worth more than $660,000. You and I are like the people back in the day. You and I have talents. Maybe it's 1 talent, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 100. But you and I have a responsibility. So as we examine these 3 men, there are 3 key things before we unfold this conversation today that I'd like you to come to a common understanding with me on. In order for us to gain a return on investment and have lasting success, there are 3 things we need to do, like these 3 guys from years gone by. I believe we need to eliminate fear, maximize our talent, and accept ultimate responsibility for the decisions that you and I make if we're truly going to have lasting success. That's what we need to do. But how are we going to do it? I mean, we hear a lot, don't we, about focus and the why of things. But how many people actually teach us how to do it? So as we examine this conversation today around 7 steps to turning your talents into lasting success, why don't we unpack it a little? And we give you some insider secrets on how you can have lasting success and maximize your talents, whether you have 1, 10, or 100 things that you're good at. Let's explore that together, and at the end, we'll clarify just whose responsibility it is to make the most out of the talents. Are you on this journey with me? I think you might be. So if you'd like to follow the conversation, you can actually join us through your favourite social media channel. Use the hashtag Inspired with the exclamation mark right at the end and be part of this unfolding story here on the Inspired channel. As we begin, we're going to look at the word talents. And I'm going to take you through each of the first letters, T-A-L-E-N-T-S, so you know exactly the path we're going to take. Well, for many of you, this might be your first time getting to know me. And it could mean that you don't know that I actually love to ride motorcycles. Well, maybe not the ones like you see on the screen behind me. My husband and I ride Ducatis, and I love to corner. There's nothing quite like having a favourite thing that you like to do in your downtime and then drawing lessons from it that will help us in real life. So today you'll see on the screen this great hot motorbike. When I consider the word tenacity, I look at the definition of the quality of persistence, the quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly. I grew up riding trail bikes. They're a lot different to road bikes and very different to racing bikes. In riding motorcycles, one of the things I've come to understand is that we must be fearless when we ride, and we need to be on the offensive and the defensive if we're going to stay safe. And certainly maximising our talents requires us to take risks in order to be safe. So being tenacious, it's all about understanding our equipment, what it is we have in our hand, and getting to know ourselves in this process and being fearless, being courageous and leaning in, as Sheryl Sandberg writes in her book, leaning in and counting the cost. But there's an important element to it. As you lean in, you must understand your capabilities and don't fall into the trap of comparison. Don't ride the same way somebody else rides. Know your bike. Know how you like to ride. And then saddle up and be tenacious. On one of our rides, my husband declared to me, "Gee, hun, it looks like you need a new rear tyre." And I went, what do you mean? And he said, "Well, there's no scaredy lines left on that bike tyre." So when I asked him, "What do you mean about scaredy lines?" he showed me, and they looked a little something like this. Let me just show you. So on a motorbike tyre, we have this amazing concoction that you would perhaps wrestle to conceive, can hold you upright and not let you down. But on a new tyre, it has little friction marks, little pieces of rubber. And the more we learn how to get the best out of a machine, the more we learn how to be courageous, the more we begin to eliminate these scaredy lines. And so there's real proof of our growth as a rider, as a leader, as a business owner. There is real evidence that supports that we have been growing in our tenacity. And for you and I, whatever journey we're on, whatever vehicle we ride, whether you're into lycra and bicycle riding or leather and it's motorcycle or motor car driving, motor racing, you're going to find that you'll get better and better and better the more tenacious you are and the more that you debrief. The next element I wanted to challenge you with is about being authentic. If we are indeed being tenacious, there is an important element that we must realise. And as I shared with you, it's not about comparison. It's about understanding who you are and recognising that you have unique gifts and talents. And if you're going to have lasting success, you need to unpack that and become very clear on who you are. So there are some broad tools that I use in the workplace to help leaders and business owners understand their work preference profiles through tools like team management systems, Gallup polls, a wide range of Myers-Briggs and DISC and things that will help you not only understand your personality but how you like to work so that you can bring your A game to the table. There are many popular movies right now, and some of them focus on superheroes. I realised that in order for me to grow, in order for you to grow and everyone to grow, we need to get really comfortable in our skin and be the same person one-on-one as we are on social media platforms, because then it's effortless. And being tenacious and being authentic enables us to be our real self without fear of judgment. And it was, in fact, Dr. Phil McGraw, leading American psychologist and TV host, who declared or was quoted as saying that authenticity is being the person in public life without the mask on as you are at home. And so I'd encourage you just to examine yourself and consider accessing some of the free tools that are available through the web, or search out people and resources that can help you grow in authenticity. Because that's one of the key ways that you can really step into your talent and stop being fearful. Are you with me on this? Remember, you can tweet about this with the inspired hashtag. Make sure you do and keep the conversation going. In the words of Keith Abraham, a well-known speaker, he shares that a rising tide floats all boats. So why don't we contribute to one another and help each other be encouraged and grow more and be authentic, dare to be who they are. The third point I wanted to raise about stepping into your talent is around having a commitment to ongoing learning. And there are a few elements that we can address here. Let me show you. So using this model of the motorbike tyre, let me just draw you a little bit of a picture. So if we're keen to look at learning and how we can in fact grow, there are, I believe, 7 elements that we can address. And one of them is around personal leadership. Who are you? What do you stand for? Do people know you? How at ease are you in your skin? And then there are the elements of in the workplace, in your small business, whether you're transitioning into small business ownership, is get clear on the resources that you have. Consider what's in your toolbox. Every mechanic knows what's in their toolbox. Every leader should know what's in their toolbox. Get clear on the strategic direction that you're heading in. There's a saying that goes, a man without a vision is like a ship without a rudder. And without a vision, people perish. In order for us to have hope and to have lasting success, maximizing our talent requires us to get really clear on these elements as well. So learning these things is really, really important to help you grow. And then consider the culture of the experience you want to create. What is the impression you want to leave people with? In your workplace, what is the type of environment you're wanting to create? What's the brand experience you want to leave people with? And then this other element here, this one, well, it's about speaking leadership. What are the words that are coming out of your mouth? How do you actually impart a message that gives hope? What's the dialogue you have within your own head that will help you transform your thinking? Then, of course, again, from the point of authenticity and learning, is consider your online presence, your digital presence. And this final piece, well, that's about family and the people you do life with. So if we're considering this learning model, let's imagine that this, in fact, we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to use a different colour. Are you ready? I know, living on the edge. So in this one, let's imagine that this is actually part of a motorbike. And you're thinking right now, wow, she's an amazing drawer. I know, I can hear it. The audience is going wild. So here we have our motorbike, wheels, and here's our chain and our foot pegs. So if these things are driving us forward, then imagine what is setting direction. And it really is around the talent, the authenticity, the learning, and then we'll have some other pieces to fill in the rest of this wheel, so that as you progress, you can step up with confidence into this new landscape of maximizing your talent, eliminating fear and accepting responsibility. So get some help with your learning. Dare to raise your voice and dare to encourage people to also grow in their learning. Now, we've got a few pieces on the board. We have all this stuff, and it is stuff, it's information. If we are learning things, the true measure of success is not just about the gathering and hoarding of information, but it's about processing it, and it's about designing an implementation plan to actually practice decisionship, and then actually.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download Bryn, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit Bryn.ai or search the App Store today.